and sometimes to demoralize them and also show them that, they have more powers. And in doing that, we have made a terrible, terrible and negative impact on families. Because when you look at young families in Kenya, they are faced with a lot of challenges, financial challenges. Some are not even able to send their children to school, and yet they themselves are teachers. Some are not even able to mentor their children and be role models because one partner is always away. And that is why I support this bill, because it gives the employee the reason for the intended transfer. When the employer wants to transfer them, again, it informs the employee of the implication of the transfer on the employee's contract of service. In the past, this has not been practiced. And in this nation, we know about that some of the directors and some of the immediate bosses have been dictators to employees. And when we apply this bill now, it will notify the employee of the measures that the employer envisages that shall be taken in relation to the employee, if any, and requires the consent of the employee before affecting the transfer. This opportunity has been denied in the past, and when this will be done, we will be able to help the employee and the employer relationship will grow. Again, under E, where applicable, facilitate the employee to move to the new place of work. In the past, Honorable Speaker, many people who have been transferred to different stations have been suffered, and some of them end up begging, and when this will be done, this will also help them, because the family that will be left behind and the person who is moving will be able to be facilitated, and they will be able to settle smoothly. Again, number 3 of that really encourages me, because it says, number 1 first says, providing reasonable transport for the movement of the employee and his or her personal effects. And number 2 says, providing salary advance to enable the employee to move. This is one thing that we have lacked in the past, and this will help anybody who is affected by the transfer to be more effective and to even go through that process with a lot of ease, because in the past, people have been depressed at a point of transfer. Again, Honorable Speaker, when we put into consideration our teachers, our medics, as I have said, sometimes even the salaries they earn is very minimal. And transferring them is kind of, it brings a lot of confusion, and they are not able even to continue with their lives. When you look at Article number 5, in effecting a transfer, the employer shall be taken into account, what the employer needs to take into account, and especially from C to F is really what has interested me. The interest of employer, the duration of transfer, whether permanent or temporary, the length and frequency of the transfer, and especially this E, because sometimes people are transferred in 1 year, somebody is transferred to 3 different places. And so even the length and frequency of the transfer and the duration should also be put into consideration. And we must also say that one must stay at one station, maybe for 3 years, not less than 3 years, so that they can be able to settle and start a life, unless maybe there is something that will push them. So I would want to advise the sponsor to make sure that if one is transferred, the issue of transferring one person to 3 different places within a year should be the issue of the past, and we should recommend that minimum 3 years, so that one can be based at the new station. Again, the skills and competence of the employee should be put into consideration. Even at the employment time, their skills, their competence should be put in place so that they will not be irrelevant to the work that they are doing. Honorable Speaker, when you look at Article number 11, each employer should develop and implement a transfer policy In fact, in addition to HR manual,